Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here, whether you are joining us here in our Zoom service or you are joining us on YouTube or any other way. We are live. I can't remember if we're going Facebook. Nope, we're only YouTube live tonight, right? So we are so glad for you all to be here with us, worshiping with us. It is the first Friday of the month of April, which means we are so blessed to have our song leaders with us, of course, Lauren, Dylan, and Reese, and we are so glad that they are here to lead us in prayer and song. And so we begin a little early this Shabbat with a little extra music to help welcome in the Shabbat. So take it away, Lauren.
Shabbat Mekabela Shamor V'Sachor B'Bor Echad Kish Mi'anu El HaMiuchad Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet Shabbat Kivod Adonai, Alayit Mikra, Elai Lefadodi, Elai Litatka, Adonai Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalat, Shalom, Atet Balah, Gam B'Simcha, B'Solah, Am Segula, Rohicha, Yai, Lefadodi, Elai Litatka, Elai Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalat.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, B'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, B'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, B'hamidenu shomreinu
And we close our, oh, that is the wrong slide. We close our song session, our Zmirot session, with a prayer of song. A prayer of peace. And so we sing together, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. Shalom, salam, salam aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. I hope you're singing with me at home, and if you are, we're going to pick it up a little faster. Hope you can keep up. Here we go. Ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu, ojavo shalom aleinu ve'hakulam. Shabbat shalom. We join together and we welcome Rabbi Robinson to speak.
Erev Tov, Shabbat Shalom, Moladim, the Simcha. It is still the holiday of Pesach, so we celebrate this Shabbat of Pesach together with our song leaders and our cantor and with each other. We should be following along if we have a copy of Mishkan Tefillah, either the flip book or the Kindle edition or a paper copy of it. But that is our liturgy for this evening. You can find it on our YouTube channel, on our website. And we're going to continue as we light our Shabbat candles on page 2. If you have not yet lit your Shabbat candles, if you have been waiting for this moment when we're all together, I'd encourage you to go ahead and do so. We're going to join with our cantor as she lights and blesses our candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehalik Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
We continue on page 28 as we lift ourselves up physically, spiritually for the Baruch Hu, for the call to worship.
Ya la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
With us now in spring, as well, I was going to say the weather gets warmer, but not so much today, at least where we are. But as the weather gets warmer, as the sun shines, we are more aware of all the beauty that is in creation, all that God has wrought for us, all the light, all the darkness as well, all provided for us that we may rejoice in it, that we may praise it. And so we praise light and darkness and the one who creates light and darkness, as we praise the one who shines God's light, that shines divine light upon all of us, the one who shares divine love with all of us through Torah, as we turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Israel Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Ahavat Olam Ahavat Olam Beit Israel Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta. Day and night show us the way, teaching us to number our days, when we rise and when we lie down. Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beit Israel Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta.
And on pages 34 and 35, we breathe in deep. We close our eyes and we listen deep within ourselves as we join in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We may be seated, and let's continue with the chanting the Ve'ahavta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושילנתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And what is my lifespan? I'm like a man gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts, I cross on dry land. 2 walls of water on my right and on my left. Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me. Before me, the desert. Perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan. We join together in Mechamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי
And Vishamru is on page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת ברית עולם ושמרו
Physically, spiritually, we rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zacher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem, Le'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatav, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומידה מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
On page 253, if we're following along in Mishkan Tefillah, we take a moment to think of those in our community, those in our lives, those in our world who are in need of healing, a healing of body, a healing of spirit. We think of all those afflicted by this pandemic, all those afflicted by the pandemic of injustice. We think of those in our own lives who are in need of healing. And I would ask you, if you are thinking of someone who's in need of healing, if you're on Zoom, to go ahead and share those names in the chat. If you're on YouTube, to share those names in the comments below, that we may lift all those names up, lift up all those who are in need of healing, whether we mention them out loud, whether we mention them in our hearts. Together, we pray, we sing. We're about to get ready for our reading of Torah, but before we do, it is not only the end, we're getting to the end of Pesach, we are also in the middle of the Omer, that period of time between Pesach and Shavuot, as we count a week of weeks. And so we count the Omer this evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has sanctified us with mitzvot and commanded us concerning the counting of the Omer. Today is 6 days of the Omer. A lot more days of the Omer to come, but today is 6 days of the Omer. And with that, we'll turn to Susan Detweiler to share our Torah text and to our cantor. It's Chol HaMoed Pesach. It is the Shabbat and the seventh day of Pesach. Tonight begins the seventh day of Pesach. And so we have a special Torah portion. So I'm going to turn things over to the cantor to talk about it and to lead us in the blessing.
So Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. If you have been attending our services all year long, you would have already heard me chant this, so apologies, but it's one of my favorite portions to chant. It is no surprise that the special Torah reading, for those who are unaware, we have special Torah reading for the holy days around the year, where while we are currently in the book of Leviticus, or did we just finish the book of Leviticus, Rabbi? I just got confused. We're in Numbers now.
We are just now in the book of Leviticus, but we get to, at Exodus, we get
There
to
you
go
go.
back.
Yes.
During Pesach, we get to go back to Exodus.
I got confused, you see, because I tutor a lot of the B'nai Mitzvah, and so I am currently jumping around in all of the Numbers portions because of all the students. Anyway, back to my original point. So we are now in Leviticus, but we are rewinding ourselves back into Exodus to the story that this holiday of Passover is all about. Our exodus from Egypt, God saving us, bringing the Hebrew people out of Egypt, and of course through the splitting the Red Sea and through it to the other shore. So we read from Shirat Hayam. We'll only do an excerpt this evening, right through a very, very recognizable verse. And for those who are unaware, the Shirat Hayam is written in a very special way, as you can see on the screen. It is written, some might say, like the parted seas. One column of text on the right, one on the left, and the Hebrew people passing through the middle. It is spaced this way, one, so it stands out. Two, to make sure we know that this is a special moment and it is poetry. And three, for your interpretation, because there's always things to interpret in the Torah. So before we chant this, we of course say the blessing for Torah study. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And this will be, if you can see at the top of the screen, the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verses 1 through 11. If you decide not to follow along our screen, if you want to look up a bigger copy. Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai vayomru lemor ashir l'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a sus verachvo rama vayam Ozi vazimradia vayhili lishua ze'eli v'yanvehu Elohei avi va'aro mimenhu Adonai ish milchama Adonai shemo Markevo paro v'chelo yara vayam ומבחר שלא שבתו בים סוף תהומות יחסיומו ירדו במסולות כמו אבן ימינך אדוני נדרי בכוח ימינך אדוני תירץ אויב וברוב גאונך תרוס קמך תשלח חרונך יאכלמו כקש וברוח אפיך נערמו מים ניצבו כמו נד נוזלים קפאו תהומות בלב ים אמר אויב וארדוף אשיג אחלק שלל תמלאמו נפשי אריק חרבי תורישמו ידי נשבת ברוחך כי שמו ים צללו כעופרת במים אדירים מי וכמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלף.
Esher Koach. Wonderful, wonderful chanting. And it is also our chance to do birthday blessings for April, and it is also the cantor's birthday, or rather it was yesterday on the first day of April, and a special birthday indeed. I won't say which one because that is impolite, but just know that it's a special birthday, and all birthdays are special. So if you are celebrating a special birthday, and all birthdays are special, if you're on Zoom, we'd love to have you indicate. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and indicate that you are celebrating a birthday. We won't ask which one, but we rejoice in all of your birthdays with the renewal of spring, with the renewal of your own lives as we join together in singing Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Happy birthday to all of you. Ad me'ah ve'esrim, ad me'ah ke'esrim, and happy birthday especially to our cantor. And with that, a quick story for this evening, a good story for early springtime, which, as E.E. Cummings reminded us, is mud luscious. It was a beautiful day when the rabbi and her friend, the soap maker, decided to go for a stroll. They were enjoying the warm weather. It was now spring, when suddenly the soap maker turned to the rabbi and asked a pointed question. I've been your friend all this time, Rabbi, and this has always bothered me, and it especially bothers me now. What good is religion? Religion teaches us all of these highfalutin morals and values and all of these lofty ethics. But look at the world. Look at how broken the world is. What's the point of any of this? Before the rabbi had a chance to respond, the soap maker continued. The world is corrupt, Rabbi. It's filled with pain and evil and wickedness. So I ask you, what good is religion? Before the rabbi could answer, out of nowhere, a large rubber ball came flying through the air, headed straight toward her. Fortunately, the rabbi had quick reflexes. She caught the ball before it smacked her in the face and returned the ball to the apologetic young child who had come after it. As the child ran to join their friends, the rabbi said, just look at that young child. He's absolutely filthy, dirty from head to toe. And you're a soap maker. So I ask you, what good is soap? What's the point of soap? There's all this soap in the world, but look at how dirty that child is. The soap maker protested. How can you say that about soap? You're a scholar, Rabbi. You understand. Soap is only good if it's used. And so the rabbi smiled, as rabbis are wont to do. It is true about religion as it is true about soap. We can teach it, and people can say they've learned it, but until they've used it and truly understand the meaning of its lessons, the power of its teachings, the weight of its laws and traditions, then and only then can religion make a positive difference in the world. And so it is true. And as we conclude our Pesach, we pray that we may learn the lessons of our tradition, that we may learn the lessons of our people, and so make the world a cleaner place in all respects. Keni Haratzon, may it be God's will. Well, it's time to turn to Aleinu L'Shabeach. If you are following along on Mishkan Tefillah, that's on page 282. Physically and spiritually, we invite folks to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We may be seated, and we'll turn in our prayer books to page 294 and in our hearts to those in our midst who are in mourning, who are grieving. And we invite those who have lost someone in the last 30 days, wherever you may be, to rise at this time. And those who have lost someone in the last year to rise. And those observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's passing, we invite them to rise at this time. And now we invite all those who choose to remember those whom only we can remember, the martyrs of our people, those who have died from justice, all those who have died from this pandemic. We rise as we join in Mourner's Kaddish. Again, page 294, if you're following along in our prayer book. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedochol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata la'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the seas and in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We remember Renee Chertel, Irene Detweiler, Howard Sands, David Markell, Geraldine Bowman, Samuel Davis, Louis Greenberg, Rachel Keller, Francis Klein, Howard Nemser, Pauline Rosenthal, Alice Sema Salama, Leo F. Sherman, Michael Simon, and Bella Wall. And I would ask if you are joining us either through Zoom or YouTube, if you have a name to add, feel free to add it in the comments, in the chat, that we may lift all of those names up as we say for all of them, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. And we may be seated. Thank you to Susan Detweiler as our tech support this evening on Zoom. Much appreciated. Thank you to our song leaders, Reese and Lauren and Dylan, for leading us in music so beautifully. Always a joy to be able to have you. And I know I am counting down the days with some regret, knowing that soon, all too soon, two of you will be off to college, and we will only be able to join with you sparingly, but hopefully more often than we think. But looking forward to having a few more Kabbalat Shabbat services with you leading. Quick reminders that tomorrow morning Torah study at 9:30 on Zoom, followed by our Yizkor service at 11. And then next week we have our Sisterhood Shabbat on Friday night, service led by various members of the leadership of our sisterhood. That'll be on Zoom and on YouTube as well. And then starting next Saturday, we're going to try some outdoor in-person services in our parking lot, rain or shine. We will have shelters, we will have tents to keep the rain away, which is good because it's April and it rains, because of course it does. But if that is something that you are moved to do, as we're trying to figure out how to start coming back into person and be with one another again, we are asking people to RSVP. So you'll find that RSVP link on the website. Hope you'll join us for that. We're going to conclude our service turning back to our wonderful song leaders as they lead us in Matisyahu's One Day. And then we'll have a chance to be together for Zoneg.
Sometimes I lay under the moon, thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. One day this whole change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun. Singing songs of freedom like why-oh, why-oh, why-oh. My life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day.
Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. If you are joining us from YouTube, you are welcome to join us for Zoneg, and we'll be ending the live stream now. And